men are easily attracted to women who know this. In this video, you will discover what you can do to attract a man easily to you and how to break through any stories that may actually keep men away from you. So of course, I'd love to hear, comment below if you're ready to understand men more and create a happy and loving relationship fast. And of course, I'm your host, Antia, founder and creator of the Magnetize Your Man method. And this is the channel where we magnetize your man so that the man you want not only desires you, but also pursues you forever. And if you like anything in this video, my background, my shirt, my earrings, the content, and so on, please give it a like. And of course, subscribe and hit the bell below for more juicy videos coming your well. Of course, also let us know once you have subscribed so we can welcome you to the community. And of course, sharing is caring. So of course, share it with all of your girlfriends who you think could really benefit from this topic. Now, listen for a special bonus secret in this video on the type of love that men crave the most. So I'd love to hear from you. So let's go ahead and dive right into that. So number 5 is transition time. So a lot of women don't understand that when a man doesn't necessarily respond to you immediately, doesn't mean that he is annoyed by you. It doesn't mean that you bother him. It literally just means that he needs transition time. So a rule of thumb to keep in mind is that men are like waffles and women are like spaghetti. Meaning, the more masculine a man is, the more compartmentalized he's going to think. Now, if you think about compartments, it takes a moment to come out of one compartment, walk down the hallway, and go into the next compartment. That's that time that's the transition time that a man needs. So if you don't necessarily get the attention right away from your man, and maybe because he's not like spaghetti, we can dance at several parties at the same time, right? If you were to lay over even like spaghetti over a waffle, you would see how we can be in different compartments at the same time. However, the more masculine a man is, the less likely it is that he's going to be able to be in several compartments at the same time. This, of course, serves survival purposes. He had to be extremely focused. If you think about evolutionarily, when he was hunting the bison, he had to be compartmentalized and completely focused and not like think about, oh, what's the wife doing at home and is the baby healthy and what else is going on and how's my friend doing, right? Like he couldn't do that. He had to be single focused so that he can actually survive, right? So that's actually something really important to remember. And that really personally helped me, because then when you give a man a transition time, guess what? He is going to give you all the attention that you could possibly need and desire. So try that out. Now, number 4 is that goes a little bit along with that, a little different, but the more masculine a man is, the longer it takes him to respond. Now, I'd love to bring in this example because when I ask my man a question, that's not like necessarily a straightforward question, but maybe like, what did you think about last night? Or how do you like this particular person? Like for those of us who are actually much more sensitive, can actually feel even like how the man is breathing, how he's actually processing. So he may not say something in that moment, but I can actually track my husband and I can literally feel into him energetically, and I can feel he's processing, he's thinking. And it's so cool because like 1 or 2 minutes later, he actually comes up with like the best response. And again, I'm thinking, is this my husband? We've been married for 7 years and there's so much newness and so many surprises still occurring that I don't know about him. So if you also feel like your relationship is a little stale, or the man you started dating, or this is the experience you have on dates, right? Like then it may be because you don't give him the space to respond. Because what normally happens if a woman is not aware of that, right, she actually rolls the man right over. And so what ends up happening is that the woman asks a man a question, right? Like, so what did you think about last night? And then he doesn't respond right away, right? And then she's like, why are you not responding? And then he feels that he's wrong, like you make him wrong, and now he feels under pressure, and now he can't be himself. And so you're not going to get the beautiful response that you would otherwise get. And you may even get into an argument, or he would just say, oh, just forget about it. Because, of course, he doesn't want to feel insecure. He doesn't want to feel inadequate or that he can't make you happy. So give this a try. It's really, really powerful. Now, comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Which country or state are you actually watching from? Now, today we go a little bit more into the energetics of interacting with a man. So number 3 is he's not a mind reader. Now, what I of course mean by that is like, don't assume that your man makes assumptions, right? Like that he's like, oh, she's not in a good mood, so that means she wants a massage today, right? Or, oh, she's not talking to me, that means she's upset and she actually wants me to chase her. It's like the passive aggressive attempts that we sometimes have, right? We're leaving the room and seeing if the man notices that we left the room. Now, he's not a mind reader. So what that means for you is actually leaning into the vulnerability, leaning into your own needs, getting connected with your own needs on an even deeper level, and actually, yes, do the unthinkable and communicate that. And I know it's so funny because I remember when I started this whole journey, understanding men, right? Like I actually was dating this guy. It was in 2010. And, I just said, what's the purpose of your dating? And I thought, what if that's such a stupid question? Because the man will not know how to answer that. I'm just assuming that. But to my surprise, actually, every single man I asked this question actually had an answer to it. So again, there's a lot of assumptions, right? The men don't know that or this or that. And on the flip side, we also have the story that, oh, this is like such a stupid question to ask. So for example, if he says, I want to have a deep connected, committed relationship with you, let's say, right? So, what we don't say is when you say committed, what does that mean to you? Because we don't want to feel stupid. We don't want to feel like a burden. We don't want to feel like we bother anyone, right? So we don't ask that and we just assume, oh, when he says committed, that must mean the same thing what it means to me. But it could mean to him that committed means like talking to you like once a week. Well, to you, committed means like talking every day or maybe even twice a day. You see how that actually causes a problem. So you want to learn how to communicate, especially in the moments where you feel like, oh, he got it, right? These are usually the dangerous blind spots. So give that a try. And we talk a lot about that in my free Magnetize Your Man dating relationship support Facebook group. So hop on over to mymfbgroup.com and join the party. We have like over 6,000 amazing single women in there. Now, number 2, and this is really interesting, is he loves authenticity. So let's say you're on a date and you feel insecure or you feel anxious or you feel nervous. What do you normally do? You try to cover it up because you think that he's not going to like that. He's not going to like the anxiety. He's not going to like the nervousness. He's going to think you're weird. He's not going to want to go on a second date with you. However, nothing could be further away from the truth because research actually shows that men love authenticity and they actually love when you're nervous because they can really feel you. You're handing them an emotional map, so to say, so they can feel themselves. So they actually feel an impact inside of themselves. However, when they start to mistrust you and distance themselves from you is when they feel like you want to cover up who you are authentically. When they feel like you want to actually laugh over your nervousness or your anxiety, that's what actually then confuses them because they're like, wait a minute, I just felt this level of vulnerability. I just felt this level of availability from her and that level of openness and receptivity. And now I'm feeling like she's closing the door. And I don't know why. Is it because she doesn't trust me? However, what it leads to is the man actually distancing himself from you not because you were nervous or anxious, but because you're trying to cover it up. So yes, I invite you to be vulnerable and do what I did with my husband. When I met my husband, I actually told him, look, this is the kind of attachment style I have. This is how this actually shows up. So this is how I'm going to act. This is how I'm not going to act. And so we would break down like everything like that he knew, oh, okay, wow. So when she's anxious, when she's nervous, she acts like this. And this took, of course, a lot of courage, but courage is a choice. You can choose courage every single day. Now, of course, if you like this content, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more future juicy videos coming your way. And number one is self-focus is sexy. Now, the story that a lot of women tell themselves is that the more giving, the more generous I am with the other person, the more generous and giving they are with me. However, this is not true. The quality of men that you attract into your life is directly proportional to the relationship you have to yourself. So what does that mean? That means actually the more you love yourself, the more you're able to be with yourself, the more you know, who am I, right? When I'm by myself, like what's the energy like feeling inside of myself? What are the needs that I'm having, right? Like focusing on yourself when you're on a first date, when you're on a second date, like noticing, oh, I'm focusing on him. Let me bring the attention back to myself. Let's take a deep breath, for example, and bring the energy back to myself, because attention goes where life flows. So when you breathe, that's life, right? So he can't help but focus on you and also ask himself, like, how is Susie doing? Is she enjoying her date? And the energy and the conversation will shift. So try that out. Men love this. And they also love to feel like you are actually able to take care of yourself. Not like that you're leading with that in an independent way. That's not what I'm saying, right? But to really say like, well, she can resource herself emotionally, and I don't have to take care of every single little emotion that she has. That scares a man because he's still also learning his own emotional map, right? So he's like in some sort of territory that he has no idea of, and now he's expected to take care of all of that and understand how those emotions arose in the first place, and of course how to solve the problem. That's going to be way too overwhelming for him, and that also triggers his fear that he's not going to be good enough, that he's not going to be man enough for you. So try that out. Self-focus is sexy. Ask the man. All right. And before I share my bonus secret, comment below, what do you think most men are attracted to, right? Like, what's your own experience? Share your experiences. Now, my bonus is a man wants to grow. He wants you to know that he wants to grow. What that means to you is, like, for one, he wants to be challenged. He wants to be put in his place. And I think a really great example is last night, my husband and I, we were sitting at the beach. Yes, it's still warm here in California, believe it or not. And we watched this couple, and it was so interesting. And my husband said right away, this is a breakup conversation. I said, wow, how did you pick this up? He's like, well, you can see on her body language, you can see how he's still reaching out and all the things. And of course, she was crying, right? But it was so interesting because she would just not allow him to hug her. Well, she would like side hug him a little bit, like it's almost like to accommodate maybe his sadness, right? But there was something that happened. We were kind of tracking it. Emotionally, it felt like there was some sort of break of trust that had occurred, right? That was like our best intuitive guess based on, we watched him for like 10, 15 minutes of what had occurred and how his body language went. And so you should hang out with us, you guys. It's really, really funny. But anyways, but what ended up happening, right, they walked up the stairs, and I told my husband, I said, you know, he's going to grow from this, right? And that's why he attracted her into his life in the first place, because she's holding her own, and she's like, you can't treat me like this, or you can't lie to me like this, or you can't, whatever happened, we didn't hear the words, right? But like you could really tell that this has a massive impact on him. So it's really inviting you to set boundaries, to say no, and really say no is a complete sentence. And also stick to your needs, what you really need. Like, don't say, oh, well, I don't want to bother anyone. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be like the squeaky wheel, right? But it's like, I don't want to be like the party pooper, but rather, like, no, what do men always say at weddings? You make me a better man, right? You make me step up to the plate. I can't get away with stealing the cookie from the cookie jar. This is something that men will not tell you. Of course not, because it would mean like they have to step outside of their comfort zone. But they really want you to know that, like that, that unconsciously. And of course, if you want to learn more about like where are you standing with all of that in relationship with men, then take our free quiz, mymquiz.com. And of course, up next is our video, When a Man Deeply Loves You, he will start saying these 5 things. Lots of love to you, ladies, and I will talk to you in the next video. Much love. Bye-bye.